This is what Palestine looked like in 1947 and what it looks like today. And I look at that, I got to thinking what happened in 1947. You see, there is no Israel there. The Declaration of Israel's independence in 1948. The land of Israel was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Here their spiritual, religious, and national identity was formed. Here they achieved independence and created a culture of national and universal significance. Here they wrote and gave the Bible to the world. Exiled from Palestine, the Jewish people remained faithful to it in all the countries of their dispersion, never ceasing to pray and hope for the return and the restoration of their national freedom. We've been implied by the Historic Association. Jews strove throughout the centuries to go back to the land and their fathers and regain their statehood. In recent decades, they returned en masse. They reclaimed the wilderness, revived their language, built cities and villages, and established a vigorous and ever-growing community with its own economic and cultural life. They sought peace, yet were ever prepared to defend themselves. They brought the blessing of progress to all inhabitants of the country. Oh, how good. In the year 1897, the First Zionist Congress, inspired by Theodore Herzl's vision of Jewish state, proclaimed the right of the Jewish people of a national revival in their own country. Now, see, I don't know what that means. When they said, oh, you're going to have a right to come back, I don't know. And the right was acknowledged by the Balfour Declaration of November 2nd, 1917, and reaffirmed by the mandate of the League of Nations. And then, right there, the Jewish people with Palestine and their right to reconstitute their national home. That's really weird. Why haven't they ever done that for the black people? For the slaves? But, okay, well, they need to go back to their home that they were exiled from. That's cool. Okay, well, let's find out how that happened. Here in 1917, the British government, they expressed sympathy with the Jewish Zionist aspirations and announced that it would use the best endeavors to facilitate the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. Here is the letter that they sent back in 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you on behalf of His Majesty government the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspiration, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home of the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate this achievement of this object. It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. This is the Rothschild family. See, that's me with the little black coat right there and that little white girl. In a past life, that was me right there. Anyways, there's all these Rothschilds. These are all Jewish people. Right? Judaism is a religion, huh? The Rothschilds are really old money, right? And you see their net worth down there is $710 billion. And what really caught my attention right here, see, they say the net worth of this family. And then they had right here one of the places that they own. Right there, you see it? Pfizer. Right? Pfizer. And that was what they were pushing on everybody, right? That shot. Here's what's been going on in Ukraine. in 2014, Russia annexed Crimea right there, and this is over the years. So over here, it's 2024. So they've managed to capture that entire side right there. And that is the side that the land that produces their grain, right? They're the second largest grain producer in the world. And if Zelensky would have just given Putin, agreed with Putin, and been his puppet, Putin would not have done this to Ukraine. And there's been like 600,000 Russian soldiers dead, killed, right? He doesn't care how many die. He doesn't care how many die, but he wants that land. But then again, here, when we're looking at this, we're saying, oh, poor Ukraine, they were invaded, and Russia, Putin is a terrorist and a bad guy, right? Because he went over to their land and he tried to take it from them, right? And okay, so Putin doing this is different than Israel doing what it's doing? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. The same fucking thing. They're both terrorists. Here, they are, talking about anti-Semitism.
Institutions that foster it, because you have faculty and students who hate Jews, hate Israel, and are comfortable apologizing for terror. How did your campuses get this way? What is it about the way that you hire faculty and approve curriculum that's allowing your campuses to be infected by this intellectual and moral rot?
Oh, yeah?
President Gay, I'm going to ask you to give me a brief answer.
What?
Also would invite you to follow up with more in writing, and we will follow up with you.
There's anti-Semitism, okay.
President Gay and President McGill and President Kornbluth.
Thank you, Chairwoman Fox. Again, anti-Semitism has no place at Harvard. When we recruit faculty, we do so with the understanding that they are joining a community where we honor, celebrate, and nurture open discourse, both on the campus and in the classroom. And to be a
If it's about the Jews, Israel,
Harvard requires the ability to draw out all of the viewpoints and voices in your classroom, irrespective of one's political views. And we devote significant resources to training our faculty in that pedagogical skill and to prioritizing that in our recruiting and hiring.
Thank you. Ms. McGill.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the question. I'm troubled by what you're reporting about the culture of the institutions that we're leading. Very contrary to the values that I hold as a leader of University of Pennsylvania, as well as the institution, where any form of hate is very contrary to our values. I would venture and answer free expression, but we are committed to having them know that that our campus must be a welcoming and inclusive environment. And although they may say what they like in the classroom academically, targeting any individual student, harassing or discriminating is strictly forbidden in our class.
little chick is into it.
Perpetuating how you're going to hire and assess instructors, how will you change how you govern students, and what are the practical steps you will plan to take. I want to ask you one more question. As I've said, and Ms. McGill, I appreciate the fact that you feel concerned about my feeling about the fundamental culture on the campuses is foundational to this issue, denial of the right of Israel to exist. So I want to ask each one of you,
Look at this shit right here.
President Gay, do you believe that Israel has a right to exist as a Jewish nation?
Oh, that's crazy.
I agree that the state of Israel has the right to exist.
Ms. McGill, same question.
I
That's
agree, Chairwoman
crazy.
Fox,
Look
the
at, they're
state of
like
Israel has
asking
the
you
right
to
exist.
plead, like,
Dr.
oh
Cornwell,
yeah, I pledge to
absolutely.
Israel.
has the right to exist. I want to thank our witnesses again for being here
That's
and to say
freaky.
we will.
President Gay ended up retiring because it came after, saying she was a DEI hire and that she hadn't written or she had plagiarized or who knows what. And so she just like retired, and that's crazy because that lady right there, this the heart right there, Stefanik, she really went at her. Let me see, huh?
Calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment, yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals.
Afterwards, Dr. Gay apologized for what she called poor wording in her testimony. But conservative attacks on Gay kept coming, including allegations that Gay plagiarized in her scholarly work. A Harvard-led investigation revealing, quote, a few instances of inadequate citation, but the university finding no violation of its standards. Some faculty members are angry that Gay was pushed out. Harvard's Professor Ryan Enos told the student newspaper that Gay's resignation, quote, represents an attack on the independence of universities that shows universities in the United States can be bullied and attacked for political reasons. But one student who has faced incidents of anti-Semitism says her departure is a step in the right direction.
Oh, yeah?
I felt that some action was necessary at some point. The administration had created
Look at this
an
guy.
environment that was uncomfortable for Jewish students.
Oh, it's
And
uncomfortable
this was
for you, huh?
something to change.
The fuck?
And it's been a
So I think, how's that happening? How are they doing all this stuff, right? There you go. Pro-Israel top contributors. These are super PACs, right? $57 million have been donated to buy people that support pro-Israel, right? And you can see candidates and all that good stuff. The majority of them are Republicans. But again, you see pro-Israel, right? Why? I mean, what other country can do that? What other country is allowed that much control over our politicians? And then there's this, right? This was resolution, something for Israel in 2023. Whereas the Jewish people are native to the land of Israel, okay? Whereas throughout history and across the reign of multiple kingdoms, the Jewish people were persecuted and expelled from the land of Israel, forced to live as minority diaspora communities in other lands. Whereas Jewish communities was historically violently persecuted in and in some cases expelled from other countries throughout the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa, due to their religion, okay? Whereas the Nazis attempted to annihilate the entire Jewish population of Europe during the Holocaust, murdering 6 million Jews during that time, a whole bunch of other people murdered too. Whereas the Nazis, okay, I think I read that. Whereas this genocide provided new urgency to reestablish a Jewish homeland for the Jewish people following the Holocaust, whereas they would not be a vulnerable minority where they could freely practice their faith, and whereas something like the Holocaust could never happen again, right? Whereas the modern state of Israel was established on May 1948. Oh yeah, fuck you, right? And then it says that, whereas Israel is the only Jewish state, and therefore, despite persistent external threats, the existence of Israel provides Jews a place to live free from their persecution and discrimination. Now, therefore, be it. Oh, that's fucking great, right? Why don't they do that for the black people here in America? The ones that were stolen from Africa over there, the ones that were persecuted and enslaved, right? And I think right here, this right here, this area right here at the bottom, that's their home. You see, they should get a place right there. That should be their fucking home. Since we're giving away land, right? But no. That's not how it works. It only works for Israel and the United States, and we keep giving them money and they're doing terrible things over there. I ain't with that. I don't agree with what they're doing over there.